Okay, welcome back on everyone. Today is Wednesday, and we're going to do a Rashi from the fourth Aliyah of the Parsha. Um, After all of what transpires in Sodom, Avram leaves the land of Canaan to go live in Gerar, in the place of Gerar, and near the king of Avimelech at the time. It's unclear exactly why he leaves. There's an interesting Rashi over there, actually, which gives two potential reasons. Going back to our discussion yesterday of Lot and everything that transpired over there, Rashi actually there, you get two Rashis today on Ravi, but Rashi over there actually says that there are two potential reasons why Avram left to go to Gerar. And it's interesting if you want to spend more time thinking about it. Either he left because there was nothing left in that area. It was all kind of decimated because of the destruction of Sodom. And therefore, just in terms of living, in terms of economic benefit, he wanted to leave to go to a slightly different area. That's one possibility, the destruction of the area. The second possibility is after everything that happened with Lot in Sodom and Lot and his daughters, that Avram wanted to distance himself from Lot further and have nothing to do with him because of the bad reputation he had had in the area. And so it's an interesting two different perspectives, and again, threading together all these Rashis, piecing together what exactly the relationship between Avram and Lot was. That continues to go on for some time, so you can continue to trace that. But I want to fast forward a little bit to the end of the incident in Gerar. Of course, he goes down, he pretends Sarah is his sister, just like he did in Mitzrayim. This time, Avimelech, who takes Sarah as a wife, becomes afflicted with some kind of disease. We don't know exactly what. He's punished in some way. The Mefarshim say maybe all of their orifices were blocked up. Some say they were impotent, they couldn't have children, all different things. Then eventually Avimelech discovers Avraham's lie. He confronts him about it based on a nevuah that he receives. Hashem gives Avimelech because he knows in the end Avimelech was a good king and he was trying his best, and therefore Hashem warns him. And Avimelech confronts Avram. He's quite upset. He gives back Sarah. He also gives him quite a bit of property. He also says to him, "Vayikach Avimelech tzonu v'akar v'avadim u'shvachot v'yiten la'Avraham v'yeshev lo et Sarah ishto." He gives him property. He gives him gifts. He gives him Sarah back, I think, as a means of kind of distancing. Take whatever you want. Take it all. Just get out of here. Just make all this go away. You brought such plague upon our land. We don't want any part of this anymore. We didn't want a part of this to begin with. This is your fault. Anywhere you want. You want to dwell here? Great. And we're going to see indeed that later in the Parsha, Avram does make a bris with Avimelech, an important bris with Avimelech. So, he says goodbye to Sarah. You're going to be taken care of by Avram, etc. At the end of this whole incident, the pasuk says, "Vayispalel Avraham el haElohim." Vayirpa Elohim et Avimelech ve'et ishto ve'amhotav vayeledu. Avraham concludes this incident by davening on behalf of Avimelech and the people of Gerar, and as his prayers were answered, they are enabled to give birth again. If there was some kind of impotence that was put upon them as a punishment for taking Sarah, it is now lifted because of Avraham's tefillah. After this incident, we go on to the famous passage, Vashem pakadet Sarah kasher amar, the birth of Yitzchak. And of course, then it goes on to the Akedah, etc. So Rashi here notes something odd about this first pasuk. Vashem pakadet Sarah kasher amar, vayas Hashem l'Sarah kasher diber. Hashem remembered Sarah just as he had said, and he did to Sarah like he spoke. So Rashi and Chazal were bothered by two pieces of this pasuk. Number one, what is the transition in the stories here? You go from a story of Avram in Gerar, praying for Avimelech and all that goes on over there, straight into this abrupt birth of Yitzchak, seemingly having nothing to do with the story before it. So Chazal's first question is about Smichas Parshios, the juxtaposition of these two stories, the transition. How do we get from one to the other? What's the connection between them? Why did Hashem put them next to each other in the Torah? The second is about the language of this pasuk. It says that Hashem did to Sarah as he said, kasher amar, and then it repeats, vayas Hashem l'Sarah kasher diber, like he spoke. What do you mean? He said, he spoke. Why is it kasher amar, kasher diber? Why is the double repetition over here? So Rashi here answers the question, both questions, in one fell swoop, based on the Gemara in Baba Kama, which I think is very interesting. Samach parsha zolakan. The birth of Yitzchak is juxtaposed to the story we just saw about Avimelech and Avraham, lelamed, to teach us, shekol hamevakesh rachamim al chavero, v'hu tzarich la'oso davar, hu na'aneh tchila. whoever davens on behalf of someone else, and they happen to have the exact same need, Hashem rewards them for not only answering their prayers on behalf of the other person, but right away, even beforehand, answering the prayers that they need for themselves. So if I'm in need of, I don't know, a meal, and I'm davening on behalf of someone else, I really know that that person is hungry, they're in need of a meal, I'm davening for them, Hashem will see the chesed that I have in my heart. Even though I have the same need, before I even daven for myself, I put someone else's need ahead of mine, and I daven for them, Hashem double rewards me. He answers my prayer on behalf of the other person, and also answers my prayer on behalf of myself. And that's what we learn from the juxtaposition of these two parshios. We just saw Avraham saw that Avimelech couldn't have children, somewhat because of him. He davens for him, and Avimelech is cured. His prayers are answered on behalf of that person. But immediately after, the Torah tells us that because Avram prayed that Avimelech should have children, his prayers were answered as well. Vashem pakad et Sarah kasher amar, giving them a child as well. And that's why we have the juxtaposition of these parshios. It also answers the textual question. Chazal, in the Torah Tamima, explains this on this pasuk. Rashi doesn't go into it over here. But the double language, kasher amar, kasher diver, is actually referring to a different subject. Vashem pakaret Sarah kasher amar. Hashem remembered Sarah like he said, he being Hashem, like Hashem had promised. Vayas Hashem l'Sarah, and Hashem did for Sarah. Why? Kasher diber, as he spoke. He, not being Hashem, but Avraham. Just as Avraham spoke his words of tefillah on behalf of Avimelech, so now, Vayas Hashem l'Sarah. Now Hashem did the same for Sarah. Kasher diber, just as Abraham had been medaber, like he spoke, like he davened for Avimelech. Now Hashem did that exact thing that he had asked for Avimelech. Hashem did it for him as well. So the juxtaposition and the textual point come to the same basic lesson, basic point reinforced, which is that when you daven on behalf of someone else and you have the same need, Hashem answers you first. There's much more to say about this subject, and there's great essays been written on this topic. It doesn't actually align with all different Mamrei Chazal. In general, we believe that a person's own interests or own needs come first. Chayecha kodmin, your life comes first, your needs come first. Adam karovitz al atzmo, you have to first daven for yourself, your own needs. So that seems to be the thrust of Chazal. But what I think Chazal are pointing out here, what Rashi's pointing out here, is that sometimes if you are just moved, not every day do you say, okay, I need something, that person needs something, and therefore I'm going to daven for them first so that I get answered. No, that's not how it works. When you daven and you have a need, you daven for yourself first. And even though there's others that need it, you daven for yourself. You are the priority. If by chance, this is what Chazal and Rashi are saying, if by chance, out of the goodness of your heart, you're so worried about someone else that you almost forget your own needs, and you don't pay attention to your own needs, but you're so concerned and empathetic towards someone else, Hashem will see that, and because of that kindness, repay you double and actually answer your prayers as well. Something more to think about just in terms of our sensitivity to the needs of others, davening for the sake of others. Hopefully, all of our tefillah should be answered in every which way, and you have a wonderful day ahead. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
Very much.